Casey Gray here, and on this video we are introducing a new cottage build that we're doing on the Ottawa River.
In 2006, we purchased this from my grandmother. It was a family cottage. I've been coming here my whole life. From 2006 onwards, we'd use the property with my family, with my children. It was a summer cottage, and we'd come up maybe until Thanksgiving. After that, it would be too cold, and we wouldn't use it. And over the years, it deteriorated a lot. So we got onto the path of rebuilding. That was a long journey. Because it's a waterfront property, there are a lot of regulations with regard to what can and can't be done to the property, including flood proofing and you can't encroach on the shoreline, that sort of thing. We dealt with the Conservation Authority and the city to get permits, and we finally ended up with I think a design for a cottage that kind of works for the property, meets the environmental regulations, but I think will also be a really nice place when it's finished.
So this morning we had the riprap dropped off. We had 2 loads of riprap dropped off. And the septic bed is being drained. The septic bed hasn't been used for over 10 years, so might not be anything in there. The old septic bed is going to be dismantled and hauled away, and a new proposed bed will be right in the front right hand side of the building when they walk into the property.
So a part of building on this particular lot and on the Ottawa River is that most of the properties, if not all the properties, are in the 100-year floodplain, meaning we have to take extra precautions, and there's all sorts of added permits that need to be done through the MVCA in this case. It could be RVCA in other areas. And in this case, the first thing that we're starting with is the retaining wall. So there are very specific regulations around what we're allowed to do for retaining walls being right along the water. The other thing that slowed down the permitting process, where we weren't necessarily involved with in this case, was getting approvals and having to work with that floodplain, because the whole building has to be built above that, and we have to deal with septic being above that and so forth. So Anderson right now is in the process of leveling out the top of where the armored stones are going to be for the top of the retaining wall at the back of the property.
So that's very, I don't know.
Well, they can pour the sonotube and the big plates.
Yeah, well, that's good. If they do that, and then that cuts down time.
So we were kind of limited by the size of the existing building. So we're able to rebuild plus a 20% increase on what the existing building is. So what we ended up with is a main room that's a living room, dining room, kitchen, and that takes up probably about a third of the building. Then we have 3 bedrooms, that 1 bedroom at the water side and 2 bedrooms at the road side. A screened-in porch, a wraparound deck. The main feature of the cottage is on the water side, we have the living room, dining room, kitchen, which is, I think it's about 30 feet wide by 16 feet deep. So it will be a nice big room with vaulted ceilings and pretty much all windows along the water side. There's also, the master bedroom is on the water side. The back side of the cottage, or the side of the cottage that faces the road, are just 2 other bedrooms and washroom and utility room.
I guess modern with a cottage feel to it to some extent. So they have some nice timber features, but they're doing a lot of white fireplace potentially. We're working through those details. So it's definitely going to have that cottage feel, but with a modern twist to it, in my opinion. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe to the channel to follow this project as well as all the other exciting projects that we have on the go. Also, exciting news, we are currently looking for a new lead carpenter. If you are in the Ottawa area and you want to join a fun team, be sure to apply on our website, theconsciousbuilder.com/career-inquiries. And lastly, if you haven't already, we are also working on the Conscious Builder Academy. Head to consciousbuilderacademy.com to subscribe for updates there.